Refer Us is all built on trust. It's the people that love what you do and they trust what you do. They believe in what you do. So they're quite happy to go out there and tell people about it. We've just made that process a lot simpler. And as I said, it's literally 10 seconds is all it takes.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. It's Rick Nuske here. I hope you're doing wonderfully well. It is great to be back with you. I love hosting this show because I have the opportunity to spend some time with some incredibly talented people, and today is absolutely no exception to that rule. And on today's call, I'm excited to speak with best-selling author, speaker, and managing director at Referral Network, Mr. Justin Harold. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure to have you here. Now, Justin, you and I are going to be exploring how you build a $37 million empire from $50, how to start a business with limited resources, and how business owners can use the Referral Network to secure high-quality referrals. But before we jump into any of that, love to learn a little bit more about you and where you're calling in from today.
I'm on the Gold Coast, the beautiful Gold Coast.
Fantastic. I had this impression that you were going to be in Sydney, but there you go. Lucky guess, went wrong. So is that home for you?
It is. We've been up here. Well, I used to be Sydney, so we've been up here for 3 years. So we moved after COVID.
Fantastic. Well, we've only just recently been there taking the kids to do all the roller coasters, so I love it there. What's the favourite part for you up there?
It's just the quality of life. I just love it. It's just because both my wife and I own a lot of businesses, and during COVID, we worked out that we're working very hard to keep everyone else into a job. So we decided to have some quality of life. So beautiful home on the water, and it's just nice. It's just very relaxing.
We have a lot of business owners come onto the show over the years, and they often will travel from one place in the country when it gets hot or cold. Do you have that luxury? Is that something you like to do?
No, I actually grew up in the armpit of the universe, I call it, but in Katoomba in the Blue Mountains, and I used to love the cold, but since moving here, I actually hate the cold now. So our winters up here are not cold, and our summers are very warm.
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure and certain. Now, what do you like to get into? You have any hobbies or sports? What do you think?
Look, I used to. I love my Harleys, so I used to do that. But having to go out to Queenslanders here, they're terrible drivers, so I got rid of the Harleys pretty quickly once I moved up here. But look, I just because we both work very hard, so our downtime is just hanging out with each other. It's something I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, fantastic. I know that from watching a couple of your videos, which are quite entertaining, I must say, that you have a love of vehicles. Now, I know Aston Martin makes the list, but one that really caught my attention, given that I'm a mini moke builder, was your love of minis early on. Tell us a little bit about your history with the Mini.
Well, I only had the Mini because that's all I could afford at the time. But yeah, no, I like the little minis and stuff. But look, the reason, or there's many reasons why I got into business. Well, there's two main ones, but the second reason was I just wanted a nice car one day. And then people have their own opinions about how that's a waste of money, but weirdly, it's my money. So I just love cars. It's always been a thing, and so it's sort of still. It's without no pun intended. It's one of my driving forces.
Driving forces. Well, you've got to have a reason and a purpose to do these things, and that's clearly one of them. But in all of this, do you say you work a lot, but do you get much downtime? And if so, you spend it with your wife, and do you like going out for a meal? What's your social life look like?
I work a lot, but there's this misnomer of work-life balance. People seem to think it should be 50-50. That's never going to happen. So it's probably 80-20 at this stage, and it's just got to make sure that the 20% of downtime is actually worthwhile. So like my wife, she owns a day spa and Medi Spa. Very proud of Renee. She's #1 in Australia for 6 years in a row with that day spa. So she's in Sydney at the moment for the week. So she goes down there once every 4 weeks to spend time with the staff. And then when she gets back, we'll just we work from our kitchen table, and we get to about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we just enjoy the rest of the day.
I love it. Do you like cooking? You're a cook at home?
No,
not me either. But
I married a very good cook.
Oh, fantastic. Very nice. And what's your favourite meal?
I don't really have one, really. Whatever Renee makes, I'll eat.
You're a bit of a seafood. I'll seafood and I'll eat it.
Yeah, actually, seafood I do actually like, but yeah, no, I'm like food just never really excited me a great deal. So I eat because I'm hungry, and I just enjoy that.
The thing I love about the My Future Business show is that we touch on people's backgrounds. And now, if we can go back a few years, let's say, when I was growing up, I remember the only rule that I had for being home was when the streetlights came on. What was your life growing up like a child? Did you have some great times that you can share with us?
I had fantastic parents. I still do. Had fantastic parents. And they were strict, but now people would probably have a whinge about that, but you don't know it when you're in it. But
Mm.
taught us some very good principles, and all of us kids have done quite well in life. And I think a lot of that's due to the way that we were raised. I think business for me has been quite a easy and enjoyable one because the basis and principles that my father especially taught us about just basically not being an asshole. So yeah, so no, I just my father was a minister, so I sort of, and he was sort of pretty high up in the religion, so I sort of copped it all the time from other people, but and it had expectations on me, but never from my parents. So yeah, good
Yeah,
upbringing.
and I know you touched on your father, and you clearly got a sense of discipline about you. How many other inspirational people have been, I guess, impacting the person you've become today? Do you think along the way?
Well, there's one one, which I met during the success of my first business, which was Attitude.
Mm.
And it's a guy by the name of Harry Van Dyke, who was the CEO of Philips. And I met him because Philips did a license deal with me. Um, and Harry's been a massive role and played a massive role in shaping the way that I do business because I had no clue what I was doing at the
Yep.
start.
Yep.
So he was really good. With anything, the thing I've had to learn the most is to be teachable because I didn't call it attitude for no reason. So I sort of have my own opinions and I sort of go with them. And so to become teachable was a lesson that I had to learn.
Yeah, fantastic. Do you find that you're still learning?
Oh, all the time. I now own a software company which I can't even spell IT, so I'm learning every single day. So, yeah, and and anyone else listening to this that's in business would understand this next statement. But business in the last 5 years has changed massively. 5 years ago, someone licked a bat and changed the world forever, and we've had to adapt and change. And I don't like the word pivot, and change what we were doing. And in a way, I think a lot of it's a lot simpler than it was before. But yeah, change is inevitable. But I love change. Some of my staff think that I actually created COVID because I just love a drama. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I do like it when things just don't work out or when they all go wrong. It's something that I thrive on.
Yeah, fantastic feedback. Thank you so very much. Now, I remember my first entrepreneurial experience was washing cars. Can you recall yours?
Yeah, selling. My mum used to buy packets of chips for us to take to school, so I would sort of take 5 or 6 packets and sell them for $1.
And flog them off. I love it. So, what was talk to me about you started Attitude with just $50. Now, I remember watching the video, and there was one particular individual that this all occurred as a result of. Tell us about the story there.
Yeah, so I get described all the time as the accidental business guy, but I only started that business because there was a lady in my father's church that constantly told me that I had an attitude problem, and it was just a personality clash, and we still have a personality clash to this day. But she kept on telling me I had an attitude problem, so I then decided just to upset her by putting "I love my attitude" problem on the back of a T-shirt, and I realised I had no money in the bank, and so I then borrowed $50 off my brother and got 4 shirts made up. Sold 3 of those shirts to 3 of my mates, and we all went to church the following Sunday. And I sat right in front of her at the church and with my T-shirt on, and she was ticked off. It's the best $50 I've ever spent in my life, and and on that day, people said 2 things that I wasn't expecting, which in business, the thing that I think we've all got to understand and start to listen to is that feedback that we're not expecting. And so, what the first thing was, people said, "I really like your shirt," and I said, "Thank you." And the second one was, "Can I buy one?" Which I hadn't thought that far ahead. And from that, I sold those 3. Could make 6, could make 12, could make 24, and on it went. So, right place, right time. Every now and again, I'll get someone saying, I've just been lucky, and it realistically has taken me 30 years to become an overnight success. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's just one of those things that just worked. And I figured, because the only thing I passed at school was lunchtime, so I figured pretty quickly that I was very good at business.
Yep.
Doing it my way, though.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. Again, great feedback. Now, retrospectively, you've been on such shows like Today and Sunrise, which in Australia, they're big things. So how has that media exposure shaped your reach and the message that you send out?
Oh, it's massive. So the first one, I got contacted by a radio show, a guy by the name of Alan Jones, contacted me and wanted to do an interview. And the reason he wanted to do an interview, and this is where, like, it sort of will bring in Referral later on, but word of mouth is the way that you grow a business. And he found out about my story based upon people I was serving in the markets where I started.
Yeah.
And so he did an interview on how I started with $50, which I didn't think was a big deal because that's all I had. And then from that, then a current affair heard that interview and then did an interview with me. And on that first interview, within 30 minutes of that going on to air, 187 stores rung and wanted to put my brand into their shops. And
Wow.
that was the day I decided I was never going to spend a single cent on advertising, and I haven't for 30 years because the media just really took hold, and because media feed off media. And for 30 years, I've had media exposure. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about attitude anymore, but I just not deliberately positioned myself, but I ended up positioning myself by accident as someone that they wanted to talk to about certain things. At the start, it was attitude, and that really propelled the business along massively.
So you've followed the yellow brick road. You've had a great deal of success, even to the point within 2005, you were actually named Entrepreneur of the Year. What was that like? Tell us about that.
That was a bit weird. I got a phone call from overseas in Monaco, and they told me who they were, and I hung up on them, thinking it was one of my mates trying to play a practical joke. And they said, "No, you've won the International Entrepreneur of the Year." And I said, "I didn't enter anything." They said, "Well, you don't enter this competition. This thing. We select people based upon what people have been doing." So that was pretty cool. I mean, I don't really get caught up in all of that sort of stuff. My success to me is different to what other people think success to me is.
Mm.
The most success I've ever felt is two times. One, the first person that bought my first T-shirt that I sold, and secondly, the first person that emailed me after my first book came out. And so they're the things that nothing's ever beaten that. No matter how much the businesses turn over, nothing's ever beaten those things. So I don't even know where the plaque is actually since I've moved, but
It's probably in the closet
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, as far as my kids are concerned, I'm still dad. So it's nice, but it doesn't shape who I am.
That's really great feedback. Thank you very much. Now, with all of this, I wonder what's after business for you. Do you have any aspirations to, a bucket list of sorts?
Nah.
No,
No, I'm a little bit weird. I don't have a 5-year goal, a 10-year goal, a
none of
1-year
that.
goal.
Yep.
No, I've just got a 1-day goal. Always have. And it's only because I've proven it works, and that is I've just got to do better than I did yesterday. And that's what I can control because the thing is, like, if you asked me 30 years ago, where would you be in 30 years? It'd be nowhere near here. So this is only for me. I'm not saying it's for everyone else, but I just don't want to limit myself by setting time frames on certain things. And
Yep.
I've got no idea. I get asked all the time to go into politics, but my problem is I've got too much of an opinion, so I can't do that. I would like to make a change in our country somehow one day because I think
We
things are
need
not
it.
going the way they should.
I would agree with you there. Absolutely.
But I don't know, mate. I'm always open to opportunities. Like I'll go to an opening of a fridge just in case something happens. So, that's why I don't really plan much.
Oh, that's excellent. No, I look at you and I think to myself, well, you've clearly gone through some ups and downs, and you would have hit some bumps in the road along the way. But do you think that for young entrepreneurs that will be looking at this startups, do you think there's a lack of resources or just a lack of resourcefulness?
Oh, look, there's more resources now than there ever was. So when I started Attitude, there was no internet, and to be really honest, starting your own business back in those days was only something you did if you couldn't get a real job. So there was no books on it. There was no courses on it. There was no experts out there doing anything about it. So we had to figure it out for ourselves. And I think at the moment, or currently, the worst thing for a lot of up-and-coming entrepreneurs is the internet, because there is so much information that's not correct that people then measure themselves by. And the other thing is, don't look at other people's lives and what they're putting all on TikTok and Instagram about the lives they're living. I mean, true successful people will not be shoving all their stuff in your face.
Yeah.
And so I just think you just got to run our own race and do our own course. And there's a saying that I came up with many years ago. With my first supplier that didn't like me with the way I did business, and I've stuck to it. And that is, it's my business, my rules.
Yep.
And so there's some people out there, like I've had books written or chapters written about me in books. And it's funny, at the end of all those chapters, they go, oh, what Justin did wouldn't work, after they just told everyone what I did worked. But so I don't do it. I don't do it the traditional way. But I'm not sure what the traditional way is in the first place. So
no, it doesn't
just
matter.
run your own race.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever be an author, or are you an author?
I've written 8 books, yeah.
Of course you have. Of course you have. I was going to ask you about that. What's your favourite? Do you have a favourite?
Yeah. Look, my first one, Would You Like Attitude, but that was obviously my favourite. I did figure out pretty quickly that I had a knack of writing books. I didn't know I had that. So it takes me about 3 weeks to write a book. And my favourite book of all time was Prosperity on Purpose. And that was all about, you can go and make as much money as you want, but if there's got to be a reason behind that more than yourself.
Yeah.
And that way we don't need governments to stuff up our lives. We can go and create change all by ourselves.
All by ourselves. I wonder, is there another book inside of you?
I've done another 2, but I've gone down originally down the traditional path with having a publisher and all that sort of stuff, and publishing, and the publishers now seem to be having this pay to play model, which I'm not a fan of. I don't want to fund someone else's business.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. I am old school, so I'll probably try and find a publisher overseas, because I also own the rights, because they stupidly didn't check their contract, my publisher. So I own the rights to all of my books. So, and some of them are still in print in other countries around the world. So
very nice position.
My first one's been going for 22 years. Still.
Yeah. And, I'd love to touch on this in a little while, but I might as well ask you about it now. But AI, AI seems to be, in many respects, ruining the world. I think about authorship, and I think that it's got its benefits, but it's got its pitfalls. What's your point of view?
Oh, you're going to start me on this one.
Oh, yeah.
I think AI is going to make a lot of people think they're smarter than they currently are. And I think, I think it's an internal thing. So I think you've got to challenge yourself as to, do you want to be the content creator, or are you going to allow something else to create your content and then take the kudos for that? For me, I need to lie straight in bed, and I can't do that. But the problem with AI that I've seen is it doesn't actually have your own voice. And my voice is my voice, and the way that I write, the way that I talk, the way that I do everything. If I was to put a version of AI into that, it will actually diminish that. And this is, I've seen this a little bit with since COVID in the speaking world, not with AI, but similar concept where at COVID, I lost 65 jobs in one day on the first day of COVID. That was fantastic. But all these people with a Zoom account became keynote speakers on their resumes. The reality is they now are being asked to speak in live events and not doing too well. And so at some point in time, if you don't have the skill set there, and it's been either faked or manipulated through AI, it will catch up with you.
Yeah.
And I just think, whilst it's good to have that sort of stuff in the marketplace, I just don't think we should rely, personally, I don't think we should rely on it to make us sound better than we are, or to give us a bit of a leg up. But that's just the old man in me talking.
Fantastic feedback. It takes away the soul, is what I would say, and all of that. But I look at the things that you've done with your speaking, and I've seen the videos of you, and I had a good laugh, about the story with the t-shirts. It was wonderful. How was it that you got into speaking? Did you always enjoy it? Was it difficult to start for you? Because some people are really challenged by that sort of environment.
Yeah, look, I'm one of those things that, and some of my mates hate me for this in a nice way, but some things just happen.
Yeah.
So when I sold Attitude, the media did a lot of interviews and a lot of stories on that. And from that, someone said, "Oh, can you come and speak at a conference we're doing?" And I said, "Oh, I've got nothing to say." Like, I know a lot of people want to be speakers now, but that wasn't a thing back then. And they said, "Well, come and just tell your story." And I went, "Oh, okay." And so anyway, it is a funny story, this one. So I turned up and there was 900 people. And I'm thinking, oh, what do I do? And the guy says, "Oh, here's what I need you to say when you get on stage." And I said, "Mate, when I'm your puppet, then by all means you can tell me what to say.
Mm.
But I'm just going to go and do this myself." And he goes, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to pretend I'm in a pub and I'm going to have a yarn." And that's all I did. And the feedback was fantastic. And from that, I got 4 more speaking jobs that people were in the audience asked me to come and speak at their things. And so I do about 70. Well, after COVID's dropped a bit, I used to do 100 a year, but it's about 70 to 80 conferences a year now I get asked to speak at. I love it. I absolutely love it. I could do it all
All
day, every
day.
day.
You're addicted.
It's not the me on stage thing that floats my boat. It's just the fact that because I don't put myself on a pedestal because the higher you go up, the further you got to
Good to
fall.
fall. Yeah.
But it's just giving people some real home truth, some simplicity that they can put in their day-to-day lives. And because I share the stage with a lot of different speakers, and sometimes I just sit there and go, "Man, none of that was actually worthwhile anyone do," and there was no content at all. So like every now and again I get asked to speak at these events where they go, "Oh, you can sell $1,000 packages," and I go, "No, I'm coming there not to sell a thing. I'm going to come there and give it thousands of dollars worth of take-home value is what I'm going to be giving." So
Adding value.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, you obviously had another business in relation to HR, customer service, and the likes. And given that you've spoken to, 80,000 plus people, what are some of the, I guess, most common customer service mistakes you either hear about or see businesses making?
Oh, that's a simple one. They stop training their staff.
Ah,
And so, if I look at, say, Renee, my wife, she has a staff training once a month.
yep.
And the amount of corporate, so I've got Customer Culture is my customer service and customer engagement company, and the amount of companies that ring up and book me, and I'll ask a simple question. It always shocks me their answer. I'll go, "When's the last time you did training?" And on average, prior to COVID is the answer I get.
Wow.
And the other thing that I find quite bizarre is the amount of businesses that will employ someone based upon what's on their CV. I've never looked at a resume at all in 30 years of hiring people. Reason being, as if you're going to say on that resume, "I suck at customer service." You're going to say exactly what you think I need to hear. So I'm going to employ you based on your personality.
Mhm.
I can train you in the skill set that I need, but you've got to have a personality. Because for me, everything about what we do in my business, and I coined a phrase back in 1996. I was reminded by one of my staff members, and that is, we go after our customer's customer. So that's how we do business.
Yep.
Which means I've got to make sure that I give great service. I've got to make sure that all my staff give great service, because my name and my face and my reputation is on the line if they don't. So the only way I can do that is if I train into them how I would like my customers served, number one. But regardless, the big point of whether they buy anything or not, that's the big thing.
Yep.
So I've just got to leave an imprint, and like the old Hansel and Gretel, I've got to just leave a breadcrumb that someone can follow back to me at some point in time.
As somebody with multiple businesses, how do you, verify and validate a new business idea? Do you, is it that 0 to 1 thing where you've either got no customers, then you got one? Is that enough validation of an idea? Is that how it unfolds for you?
Yeah, look, I start all of my businesses the same way that I started my first one, by accident, and
Mm-hmm.
that is I don't start with a great deal of money, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. If I put a lot of money into it and it doesn't work, it sort of matters. So I've just got to figure out, is there a market for it? and then work out how do we actually explain that to people is the big one. Probably more so because you can have the best idea under the sun, but you might be the only one that thinks that's a good idea. So
yeah.
And so, I look at that, and then I've just got to try and get traction as quickly as I possibly can, and
Go from there,
and do it without spending money on advertising.
I think it's a good segue into talking about Referrals Network. This is obviously you started it off in the early phases with Phil Bamford, your co-founder.
Yep.
Phil, great guy. Tell us a little bit about how this all came about and your relationship with Phil.
Yeah, look, I've known Phil since I was 19, so. We've done other businesses together in the past, other software things in the past that went quite well. Then Phil went off on his way with his WHS business,
Online,
and I went off doing my other stuff. After COVID, if I look around, because I do a lot of business mentoring, and I look around at what my clients are going through, and I started to see a common theme going on, and I see it across the board everywhere that we go now. And that is people are not doing the basics in business, and they're not doing them well, but then most of them are not doing them at all. Now, word of mouth is the easiest way to go and grow your business. The problem with that is it's very unstructured. So let's just pretend I'm at a barbecue. Someone says, "Oh, do you know a good podcast that I could listen to?" And I can go, "Yeah. When I get home, I'll send you all the details." Now, that's the normal way that we go about it, right? And so we keep on drinking, keep on having a sausage sandwich. I get home at 10 o'clock at night, totally forget about the conversation I had with that person. And you have no idea that I've actually was talking about you. So I wanted to disrupt that whole process. And that's why we created Refer Us, where the whole referral process for a business is on their customers' phones. So all they do in the same conversation now, someone says, "Oh, do you know someone?" I go, "Yeah, look, I know. Ricky's a great bloke. Let me send you his detail. Let me send him your details." So within 10 seconds, you now, Rick, have all the details of the hot lead. You've got their phone number, their email address, and their name, obviously. And at the same time that you get that, the person I've just referred to you gets all of your details. So now the referrer can't stuff up the whole referral process. But you know instantly now. So the big success that I do know, or why what I've done has been successful, comes down to a lot of things. But the main thing, it's speed. You don't have to wait. If you send me an email, you won't be waiting 3 or 4 days for a response. If you leave a message on my phone, you won't be waiting 2 or 3 hours for a response. I'm going to get back to you really quickly. And so this is what we wanted to help businesses do, and just get them back into, because everyone has a referral, not process, but have a referral thing, but it's just not systemized. And this way your customers and your raving fans can refer you at any point in time. They get rewarded. You set up a reward for that, which I've always paid 10% of my speaking fee if someone sends me a job. So, some people can walk away with a fair chunk of change from just sending me the job that I'm going to do all the work to get. And the other thing that I wanted to introduce to businesses, and when I say this, most people go, "That makes no sense," but I'll give it a shot. Most of my speaking jobs that I get referred for are from people who have never heard me speak, but they know I'm a good speaker based upon what they've either seen online or whatever. So I wanted to open up a market to small businesses, which is the market that's never going to buy from you, but still know people who will. And so that's where the Refer Us thing and process captures all of that. And my main thing, as I said with Phil, and we've done this quite well together, I said the one thing is I don't want to let price be in the way. So we've just priced it just over $1 a day for a business to use this, and they get as many referrers as they want. I've got around 13 speaking jobs from it since March. My wife's got 487 referrers, her clients. 487 of them have put it onto their phones.
Yep.
Your customers will do you a favor and will help you grow your business. The reason that most of them don't right now is you've never asked them to. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So is it something that somebody can access if they don't use a mobile? Can they do it from desktop? Does it work that way?
Yeah. So we didn't want to I didn't want to create an app for a couple of reasons. So it's not on the App Store. So it's the website, which is referralsnetwork.com. But the reason, two reasons. Number one, Apple take 30%, and I don't like funding Apple. So Apple take 30%. But the other thing too, like the way we've set it up through the website, and that's what sits on your phone. If you go and change your offer or change what your business is about, instantly all of your referrers will reflect on their system.
Yep.
If it was an app, you've got to wait for everyone to update that. So some of the stuff would be outdated. And so I didn't want that to happen. And I did want to keep the price as low as possible. I'm all about, in all of my businesses, it's all been about no-brainer pricing. So I never want price to get into the way of anyone making a decision.
You know, for the longest time, you know, you go back to the classics of marketing back in the day, and they've always talked about referrals, cost per acquisition, and those types of things. You know, right now, I can see a great opportunity for the Referrals network to knock down that CPA. Are you seeing that for people using the system?
100%.
As opposed to, say, paid marketing, you know?
Oh, 100%. So the thing with it's the difference between what we've created and, say, an affiliate program. Affiliate program is more transactional, where Refer Us is all built on trust. It's the people that love what you do and they trust what you do. They believe in what you do. So they're quite happy to go out there and tell people about it. We've just made that process a lot simpler. And as I said, it's literally 10 seconds is all it takes. And because of that, and we sort of gamified it, all these buzzwords now, but gamified it a little bit where we've made it very easy. And now what's happening, and we've seen this, and we've had the people have come back to some of the clients that use it, have come back and said one of the main things people say about them is now that whole business is top of mind with some of their customers when they're listening to these conversations where before they would have gone, yeah, I sort of know someone, I can send you their details. Now they're right into it. So
instantaneously as well.
Oh, 100%. But I want to know if someone's raving about me and talking about my business, as a business owner, I want to know that as soon as humanly possible.
Right.
And so that's what I wanted to create. And it's a great tool for any business. It's not a OR product. You don't do paid advertising or Refer Us. It's an and product. You do whatever you're doing right now, but just have another system, because as a business, you've got your own back end. So you've got your own CRM. You know who's referred, when they're referred, how much they've referred, how much money they're making you. As the referrer, I've got my own back end. I know when you've contacted the person I've referred. I know when they've become a customer. I know all of that as well, because my name as a referrer is on the line if the business doesn't pick that up.
Yeah.
So I just really wanted to really solidify that entire process.
This, to me, can obviously go cross borders globally. Do you have any challenges with that sort of privacy and that type of thing at this stage?
No. We're right across all the privacy. There's not a great deal that we as a business see of. So we don't see your referrers. We see a number.
We
don't see any of their details or anything like that. Funnily enough, Australia is a very tough market. Our bigger take-up's been overseas.
Yeah.
Australians are very apathetic in a way when it comes to new tech or new things. They're just waiting for other people to pick it up, which is a bit bizarre because I'm the opposite. I am sort of king of the wank factor. I love the latest and greatest. I love jumping onto things really quickly.
You're
and all
a
that
nerd.
sort of stuff. Yeah. And so the instigator people have picked it up. But there's certain businesses that are obviously they're more highly geared around referrals. So like brokers, insurance brokers, mortgage brokers, accountants, places like that, beauty, hair, car dealerships. So they're all relying on word of mouth. But the current process for most people is send us an email and tell us who you've referred. And it's just like, well, that's a bit clunky.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I have exactly the same system. I was thinking to myself, well, how could somebody like me who relies on referrals quite a bit? There is an organic stream, and then there's a paid stream, and then there's the Refer Us network stream via a link in, say, an email template post-interview or post-service that we provide. Is that what you would do? You'd put it into your template and say, hey, look, make sure if you're going to refer somebody to us, just click this Refer Us network link. Is that how it would work?
It's exactly how it works, and that then sends them straight to a page. You put their name and details in there, and within 20 seconds, that one, because they've got a little bit more information in that one, they now become a referrer. You instantly get notified that they've become a referrer. Now, for me, I then will contact that person straight away. That's the way I've always done business, saying thank you so much. I'll verbally contact them and just say, hey, and I'll then educate them on how I would like them to refer for me.
Right.
And so I'll guide them. See, a lot of the times not a lot of the times, most of the time, we train our staff, but we never actually train our customers on how we'd like them to do business with us as well.
Yeah.
And so I do that, and then what we do is it's on the bottom of most people's email signatures when you send it out. If you know someone that would love our service, click here.
Click here.
It's on our website. You can just click there to become a referrer. And it's on social media. You've got your own social media links and all that sort of stuff. So you just put it out to as many people as you can.
Yep.
And worst case scenario, here's what we say to everyone. You go and buy it for $375 a year. All you need is one person to refer you for that year, and you've made your money back. Yeah. Simple stuff.
So, a lot of people look at affiliate links, let's just say. I know it's not the same, and they have a particular number at the end of it. How do you, I guess, for lack of better ways to term it, cloak those links of those referrers so that they are absolutely assured of getting that referral? Is there any issues with that type of thing?
No, not at all. So it's all coded very similar to that whole process. So we know, because then we've got a separate arm of the business, which we've got a lot of people doing. So for free, you can become a refer us referrer, because there's a lot of people that got big lists of business owners, but they're not in business themselves. And so for free, you can become a refer us referrer. So we know exactly who the person is that sent us that and through our system. It's the system's built very, very well. I've learned a lot of new languages, especially with Philly. Philly knows his stuff back to front. And Phil made the mistake right at the start when we started this, saying to me, Justin, if you can think it in developing world, we can do it. And I said, you shouldn't have told me that one. And so so it's all that's the one thing. See, for me, it's transparency in business is very, very important.
Yeah.
So we've got to make sure that the person that's actually getting the reward, or the person that's doing the work, is the person that gets notified and gets acknowledged at the same time.
Gets recognized.
Never once has that fallen over for us at all.
But I tell you what, knowing Phil like I do, I think, having the right people in business alongside of you is going to make all of the difference for the Refer Us network system. And I wish you all the very best for that. Now, is there some sort of an onboarding process? What's the process if people want to get involved? Do you have a demo? What steps can they take?
So there's a couple of things. So on the referralsnetwork.com website, you can book in for a demo, and so Phil will run you through that. We're very big. I can't have a company called Customer Culture if I'm not going to provide great service. So very big on service. So we want to show people how it actually works, if that's the case. A lot of people just sign up because it's only $375.
No brainer.
What I tell everyone, if you do that, we will, within seconds, you will get an email. It's not an automated one. It's a deliberate one that we will both. I'll call Phil and say, Phil, email.
Yep.
And you'll get an email wanting to onboard you and help you with it. Now, it doesn't take long to set up yourself. Probably 70% of people have done it all by themselves anyway. But that way we can show you all the different things that are there. And the other big thing that we've just included in the system, which I'm quite excited about, is the My Network process.
Right.
So now, because in business, I've got a lot of other businesses that then cross-refer and send me cross-referrals. So now you can create your own little network inside the system of like-minded businesses that you can cross-refer. And so you're not only getting referrals from customers and raving fans and the public, you're now getting referrals from business. So it's business to business,
B2B,
business to consumer, and consumer to business.
What a great environment. Now, with that all being said, just tell us once again, as we get to the pointy end of the call, where people are going to find more about you, about Phil, and about Refer Us Network. Where are they going to go to find it? Okay, so for me, it's pretty simple. It's justinherald.com. I've created that website so I can remember it. And for the Refer Us, and a bit about Phil and I on that, is referrusnetwork.com. Pretty easy. Well, look, if you're on today's call, you've enjoyed what we've spoken about. We've literally just scratched the surface. I'm pretty sure you're going to learn a lot more by visiting the links that I'm going to provide below this post, no matter where you see it. In fact, you're going to see a link back to Justin, Phil, Refer Us Network, and so forth. And with that being said, Justin, I really enjoyed this call. Thank you so very much for joining me on the show today. Not a problem. Thanks so much for having me.